Welcome back. I hope you all had a great time having tea, coffee, whatsoever you have. So let's just begin with our second module, that is Azure Relational Database Engine. So what really Azure has to offer us? What does Microsoft has in it with their cloud platform? How does we really gonna use the databases over Azure? Let's just have a look. So this is what Azure Relational Database Services are. Azure has been providing us with four database services. That is Azure SQL Database, Azure Database MySQL, Azure Database for PostgresSQL, as far as for MariaDB. So we must have thought that what Microsoft has to offer is only SQL, and it only work on MySQL. There is no other option. But let's just have a look what really Microsoft has to offer us with this SQL services. So here goes the Azure portal. I hope that you guys are aware of and you have seen this console before. So let's just go and have a look what really Azure has to offer. Firstly, that goes with Azure SQL. I hope everyone is able to see my screen, that there are three databases that I am able to look at my screen right now. So how does that really made of? Let's just create one and have a look how we can get this databases results. See, now what are the deployment options that Azure is being offering to us? As we're having three options in front of us, and how do we can get the benefit of these options in our organization, and how do we can really can use it? So the first option that I am able to see is SQL databases. As SQL databases are not something that is limited to only the features of it. It do have something related with the instances that we have behind that, the infrastructure, because we just can't run an infrastructure, we just can't run database without infrastructure. So database has vast variety of it, but as Azure has to offer, as Azure being a platform providing you with the service that is infrastructure based, software based, as well as platform based. So SQL data being provided as an PaaS service. PaaS service being platform based service where you don't have to do anything. It just I want to eat something and I'll just order it from Zomato and it's here in front of me with all the variety of food. I just don't need to cook anything, don't need to put pressure on myself. What should I do? I don't have this and that. So that's how it's being served to me. So there are three options, that says SQL database, SQL managed instances, SQL virtual machine. So what does this really mean? SQL database basically means the database which I want to store, and I am someone who don't have the instances, don't have the commute with me. So how do I really store it? So Azure is saying, okay, let me just help you out with the same. So what I'll do is, you'll just create your database, rest whatever is there, I'll be taking care of that. You don't need to worry. You just create your database, store whatever you want to store, and rest the responsibility will be mine. But there are certain people who feel like, okay, I just want to have an instance that I can be able to manage with all the features that be there. Per se, if I am someone who has predefined SQL structure, SQL database on my on-premises server, so I want that, okay, on-premises server, it's been so difficult for me to manage. So let's just go and put it over the cloud so that it can be an easier service, so that it can be accessible for everyone. Because you must have known that clouds is something that is accessible over the globe, and you can just click on internet and it's just accessible to you. So I just wanted to confirm, is it possible, if the server is on premises, will it be possible for you to access the servers and anything over the cloud, over internet? Is it possible? Sweta, is it possible? No, it's not possible. So that's how it has offering. And the another last option with it says SQL virtual machines. Virtual machine basically help to give us the whole instant provide. Per se, I am someone who needs the access to have every option available to me. Per se, when it's a commute thing, how does the storage work, network, be it it's a cloud platform, but I want to manage it on my own. So I can have the access to it. So let's just go and create a SQL virtual machine that has an offering. You can just choose whatever operating system you want to go for it. So let me just take this one, as we do have plenty of images available to us. Depending upon the need, we can use it. So let me just go with this one and create it. I hope my points are clear to everyone in the class. So how do we really create a virtual machine over here is we do have a resource group available. So let me just take one resource group that is predefined, and let me just name it SQL VM, and I have already taken the image that I'll be going to deploy. There is one thing, depend the size. So how does the size impact? Depending upon the need which I have in my organization, I can just switch to the size whatever I want to go about it. So let me just go about with this one. And there is authentication as well. So if I'll just the authentication, just to prevent, as Azure being a biggest platform, it do offer us with the security of our instances. That is really helpful, as the data in organization is so sensitive, as we are working on a platform that is globally accessible. So just to prevent the security of that particular thing, Azure is offering security and compliance to us. Okay, so here we go. As we don't need to make any changes over the disk, so let's just move forward. And we have already created the virtual network, so we can go forward. As you guys must have created virtual machines before. So just wanted to confirm, is there any feature that you are finding, okay, this was not there? I hope you are able to see that feature, this one, SQL server setting. So if I want to have a SQL server for me, so there should be some setting that is required. So what it should be? See, first thing being, say, as I have told you, Azure being a platform, they are not compromising with the security of our database or any of the data that we are providing to them. So they want, how does you really want to use your platform? Is it you want to use it in your organization, you want to access it publicly, or it just should be accessible locally? So what I'll do is I'll just let them access publicly. Okay, and other than that, if I have given the access to any of the person in my organization, okay, you can have a look. Okay, this is my database. Okay, if you can please have a look. If that person is so dumb and they don't know what really to do with the database, and if they press something and delete the database, what will really happen? My organization will lose all the data that is there. So just to play sensibly and just to provide security, we do have an option that says authentication, SQL authentication, so that only the person who has the rights to it and who's the administrator handling the SQL part will only be able to access it. There are options, you can provide your own login details over there, but I'm going with the default one as of now. Let's see what all it has to offer. So now the other part being the point which I have discussed in the storage part. when I was planning, so I need to think about it. If I am having 1500 employees working in my organization, so and they are department distributed into different departments, sales, it, finance, whatever it is, so I need to store the data for them. So per se it require, as it's 1024 GB, that is way too much, so let me just go with 64 GB as of now, because I am having 1500 employees working with me. Okay, let me just select that, and okay, so that's how it goes with the storage part. Other than that, Azure SQL platform has so many things to offer. That says automated patching. As whenever any changes or anything happen that updates require, it will take automatic patching and automatic backup. If I want to enable, I can go for it. But rest, I am leaving it right away as it is, and there you go. I hope that sounds clear to you, everyone in the class. And that's how we can create it. I do have it with me, so let's just have a look. There you go. So this is how the whole instance look like. Let me just close this one. So how do I able to access the database which I have created? I'll be able to access the whole infrastructure that is behind that, not only the database but the infrastructure as well. So how do I really able to access this? So there is something named as SQL Server Management Studio. Let's see how does it really works. Meanwhile, it's opening. Let's go back to the slide which where we were working at, and let's have a look how other features are working. As we had a look at the four options that are available over Azure, so let's have a look at individual option. How what does it has us to offer? As first being Azure SQL database. As we had a look, how does this SQL database even look like? It just, providing us with the food that is served on a table, that you don't need to do anything. Just create your database and you are good to go. Rest everything will be managed by Azure platform, and it is something that if you are someone, you just only need to manage your data, and you are not really into, okay, I want to manage instances and everything. So what really is the purpose? What the best way Azure is offering, you can create your database, store your data. Per se there are data that is, you just need to store the information. Other than that, there are nothing as such of use for your organization, but you really want to store it. So you'll just store it with all the security premises, and Azure do offer high availabilities and backups, and it is easy to use, as on premises will be so difficult for me to use. And sometime on premises we do face issues like power, electricity and everything, and there might be other calamities that can cause difficulty, but over there it's all safe. Other than that, it do comes with a pricing. That pricing comes with the two tiers, DTO and VCO. How do we can get the databases? First one, DTO, data transaction unit. So it comes with a single and elastic database option. So you guys must be wondering, what does a single and elastic database means? Single database per se, it's only for me to store the data in a single, like per se, if I'll talk about any of the schools, right? So in our school we do have different classes over there. So what I need to do, I have classes from 1st to 12th. I just can't store the data of every class in one database. So what I'll do is I'll just create different database for every class that is present over there. So that's what single database meant. So if I talk about elastic database, that's per se, I need to grasp some information. If I want to have information about the employees that are working in our organization and have something correlational to them, so then what I can do is I can just combine a data, just like I have taken an example for school being having so many classes with so many subsections over there. So if someone asks me, okay, how many students are there in your school, and what's their age and what age group they lies, what they really do, and other sorts of information. So what I'll do is I'll just recombine that single database into an elastic pool that just merge all the data for me, so that it will be easier for me to access it. Other than that, there is option that says vCore. vCore basically is virtual core. We can decide our database virtual core depending upon the need and the requirement that I have with my organization. And other than that, SQL data and the platform being so grateful that it offers certain features to us, backup storage, long-term retention, geo-replication, just in case something happens to one of the data center, what should I really do? So I should be really wondering, okay, now this something happened to this data center, I will might lose my data. But no, Azure has a solution to it. It is offering us active geo replication that just replicate your data over different platforms, and it's all in safe hand. You just don't need to worry. If it's on premises, then it might be a biggest concern, like if something happened to one of my data center, how do I even retrieve the data that was there? So that is the biggest benefit using Azure SQL database. So here we go with the next one that Azure has to offer, that is MySQL. MySQL being the same database platform as having a different features. So it just is an open source application that you must have seen in an organization. We do host open source application, open source businesses runs over there. So MySQL basically help us to do the same thing. And it also help us to migrate the workload to the cloud, and it is one of the most common database that is being used in web servers or web application. If I am someone who's a developer and I want to develop my application, so what do I really do? That database particularly stored on MySQL database, because MySQL database has so many features that is helpful for hosting a web-based solution or web-based application. As said, this also being a platform as a service, providing all the features that are there. You just need to go and say, okay, hi Azure, I just need this, please get this done for me. Other than that, there is nothing that is required from your end. Azure has so much offering. You just can rely on everything for your organization on Azure. Be it if you are worried about your data that it can be retrieved or not, be it the availability of it, be it the security, everything Azure has to offer. Other than that, the pricing level goes for it in a three level: basic, general, and memory optimization. vCore is also available. We do can have this pricing tier and have a look in further slides. And it do also provide replicas, backup that we have already understood in the previous slide. Let's move on. Azure Postgres. As you must be wondering, okay, this is the types of database. So what really is the difference? Because we usually thought Azure, being a Microsoft platform, only has one offering to it, but no. It has all the offering depending upon your need. It just fulfill the requirement of the person who is using it. If I am someone who is comfortable with this kind of database, I'll go for it. If not, I might go with SQL, MySQL, MariaDB. So same goes with Postgres as well. It do has a offering like PaaS services. Oracle platform can use it, and high availability is also there. Backup. So just like the same way, depending upon your need and your organization need, we use different type of servers. Same goes with MariaDB server. It is also a PaaS service that we have, and that really use in e-commerce and retail solution. Per se, if I am someone, okay, I was thinking, okay, let's me run e-commerce business and I want to work over Amazon. Just like if I open a Amazon website. So Amazon being a so big platform, how does it really stores the data? How does they really manage it? Because it's not all about having one specific detail. There are thousands and millions of products with millions of details over there. So MariaDB being a best platform or the best database that these kind of websites can use. Be it all the features are similar to it, depending upon the need, we can just switch to the database whatever we want. And other being SQL Server on VM. Just like we just saw how we can get SQL Server over a VM as we have already created it. Let's just have a look how does that works. So SQL VM basically offers so many features to us. Just like if I am someone, okay, I am on using my on premises server or something happened to it, it will be difficult for me to manage. So there you have this option, okay, if I am someone, okay, I want to use my VM and the database per se for 1 hour only. So in Azure, you do have an option to use it for 1 hour and pay for it. No one is asking you why you haven't used it for 2 hours, 3 hours. You're just using it for 1 hour, close it and go ahead. It just saves your money as well as time. Let's just have the comparison between all the database which we have looked in the previous slides. So they are offering SQL database, MySQL, PostgresSQL, MariaDB, virtual machine, and migration services. Everyone has a different purpose depending upon their need. If you are someone who want to run their website on open source, MySQL will be the best option for you. But no, I am someone who wants to have an e-commerce business. So what should I really go for? Postgres? No. That should be MariaDB. So depending upon what really is the need and what platform are they really offering, we do have their pricing and every feature is available over there. Let's just have a look at the VM which we have just created. I hope that is visible to you all. The machine which I have already created, the server where I want to host my SQL database website is already taken. And as we have applied SQL Server authentication, so it has already taken the name because I have already the details, and let's just connect to the database. Okay, so there comes the database, and just wanted to say one thing. As we have learned about a single database, so what it really has to offer us, it only has to offer us with the limited features that is required. But if we are having the full authority to the infrastructure as well as to all the features that SQL database has to offer, we are able to see every feature over there. So let's just go and create one database for us, as I have already created one. So let's just have a look. Or else what I'll do is, let me just create one for you guys. Let me see. Okay. Let me just name it employee details. EMP details. Let me just create it. And let's go open it. Tables. Let's just create new table in it. Okay, so what all details I needed, as I am creating employee details, so employee name, and what should really be the data type over there. Data type per se, what characters, what numbers, and what you really want in that particular database. So what we really want, that it should be a varchar that we'll be using, having maximum of 50 characters in it. And then we will go for age, and that should be an integer starting from C1 and going forward. There is no limitation to it, and that's how we go about it. We can also add one more feature, that is city. Okay, so my table is ready to go. I have just saved it. MP, and there we go. Just like we already had one table. Are you able to see the details over there? So that's how it goes. And if someone asks me, okay, I just wanted to have a little bit information about Sakshi. Like, I am able to see three columns over here. Okay, per se, if I just want to have my exact location, right now it says Delhi, but where do in Delhi? And if I want to reach Sakshi, how do I really reach it? But that table is placed somewhere else, or probably in a different database. So what we'll do is, we'll just get a query executed, so we can get, just like in the beginning we talked about relational database, so that is the example that relational database has to offer. Let's just create a new query. So here is the new query that we are going to make. So what we are going to do, we are just going to create one table per se. What I'll name it, employee details DT. And what really I want over there is two columns, e name and e age. And the data type, just like we did previously, we have selected it. So we are going to do the same over here, just putting the name of the database which I have just created. Okay, let's just put the name of the table, the one which we have created here as well. Mhm. There you go. Are you able to see the similar structure that we have created in the table over here? So here comes, we can just create multiple tables and just correlate them and get the information whatsoever we want. So that's how really Azure database has to offer. Now we'll take a small break and we'll get started with Azure SQL after a small break.